This is the ultimate Hexblade Warlock build. Hexblades are kind of like fighters, except they attack with the power of raw sex appeal, as well as a giant sword. This build scores critical hits like crazy, does incredible damage, and plays with one of the most iconic combos in D&D. There is one restriction: no multiclassing, no Hexadin, no coffee lock. We're taking this straight down the line. Let's go. For stats, we're using point buy. We're a warlock, so charisma is the priority, then constitution is next. We pop 14 into dexterity to max our AC while wearing medium armor. We're dumb as a rock and weak as a kitten, but who cares? We're sexy. For the race, we're gonna be Shadar Kai, an edgy emo elf. We get the usual elf stuff like trance and dark vision, as well as resistance to necrotic damage and advantage on saves against being charmed. We also get a bonus action 30-foot teleport, and from level 3 onwards, when we do this, we resist all damage until the start of our next turn. Yes, we are tanky. Slam your +2 to charisma and +1 to constitution, and our starting stats look pretty good. If your GM allows feats that come with backgrounds, grab Wild Spacer for the tough feat. It's free cushion for the pushin', giving you +2 to your hit point total at every level. If that's banned, which is fair enough, any background that gives proficiency in persuasion or deception is great. Okay, now let's talk the actual build. So level 1 Warlock gives us our first subclass, the Hexblade. Our patron manifests through a weapon. Now when we finish a long rest, we can touch a weapon and boom, it's magic. The key to this feature is we can now use our charisma modifier for attack and damage rolls with that weapon. Hexblade also gives us proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. For now, we're going to be using a longsword plus a shield and wearing medium armor. Our AC is going to be sitting at a frankly amazing 19 if you can grab half plate, or 18 if you start off with the much cheaper scale mail. We also get the feature Hexblade's Curse, which is going to be a huge part of this build, so listen up. As a bonus action, you can choose one creature that you can see within 30 feet. They are cursed for 1 minute. While cursed, we get a bonus to damage on attacks against them equal to our proficiency bonus. We score a critical hit on a 19 or 20 when we attack them, and when they die, we get a few hit points back. It is an awesome feature. The only downside is that we can only do it once per short rest for now, so use it on the most threatening enemy that you are fighting. We also get to learn 2 cantrips and 2 first level spells, although we only have 1 spell slot at the moment. Hashtag Warlock problems. First cantrip we grab is Eldritch Blast. It's the best cantrip in the game, and it's going to be our go-to ranged damage option. Our second cantrip is Booming Blade. This is our close range option. Now when we slap a creature with an attack roll, they're going to take an additional 1d8 damage if they willingly move more than 5 feet before our next turn. At the moment, we're not really pressuring them to move, but it's free upside and damage. For our first level spells, we're going to grab Shield from the Hexblade spell list. This is our emergency defensive ability, letting us trade our spell slot and a reaction to get +5 to our AC until the start of our next turn. It's really good. The second option we'll pick up is Charm Person. It's the best out-of-combat spell available right now, letting us back up our natural persuasion and deception talents with some mind control when needed. Most of the time though, you're going to be holding that spell slot open to cast Shield in emergencies and using Booming Blade for damage. Of course, we are a Warlock, which means we get all spell slots back on a short rest, which is great because at level 2, we now have 2 spell slots to burn. We also get 1 additional spell. So let's grab Hex. It's fantastic and shares a lot of traits with our Hexblade's Curse, costing a bonus action to set and giving us a little extra damage. In a longer fight, where we have time to set up both, we're pretty incredible. We'll get something better at next level though, so enjoy this combo while you can. We also get Eldritch Invocations at level 2, which are kind of like mini feats Warlocks can use to enhance themselves across the game. We're gonna get a bunch as we level up, but we start with only 2. Firstly, we grab Agonizing Blast. This is a no-brainer. Our Eldritch Blast now deals additional damage equal to our Charisma modifier. This build doesn't rely on Eldritch Blast as much as other Warlocks, but when Satan offers you a machine gun, you take it. Second invocation we're grabbing is Devil's Sight. This lets us see through magical darkness, which is really important because it's level 3, and we're learning the spell Darkness. Darkness is an action to cast, requires concentration, and creates a 15-foot radius of magical darkness around the object you cast it on. You're going to cast it on your shoes. Now you are a roaming body of darkness. Nobody can see you, but you can see through the darkness thanks to Devil's Sight. That means we are heavily obscured, and every attack we make is coming in at advantage. Also, every incoming attack is made at disadvantage. Now here's where we got to talk about being a team player, because sure, beating an enemy to death while blinding them is fun, but that also means you are going to heavily obscure your target from the rest of the party. So when you use this combo, make sure you move away after attacking. You're going to be cloaked in darkness, move in, strike, move out 15 feet, or teleport so your allies aren't hindered by the darkness as well. Because you're hidden by the darkness, you won't trigger opportunity attacks when you move. So this is very safe, and even better, if the enemy tries to follow you because you're destroying them with all those attacks at advantage, they're gonna take 1d8 thunder damage from Booming Blade. Speaking of blades, level 3 means we get the Pact of the Blade. Yeah, we get a lot of things at level 3. Now we can ditch our longsword and shield combo and run with the pure power of a greatsword. The darkness is gonna keep us safe, so AC is less important, and we're now hitting for 2d6 damage, not 1d8.
Hello, I'm Jim Johnson, and we're here to help. Are you plagued by thin wrists? For years, I was passed over for promotions and in relationships because of my thin wrists. But fear not, we have the solution. Is it improved self-esteem? No, it's Holzkern. Beautiful watches and jewelry crafted from exquisite wood in Austria. You may have seen me wearing Holzkern jewelry in videos because it distracts from my thin wrists. It also looks amazing. All Holzkern products include natural materials, and every wooden product is unique thanks to the special grain of every tree. I hate trees, so I don't like how Holzkern is FSC certified. That means there's no deforestation happening, which is good if you care about the planet. Holzkern have over 1,000 products available for men and even women. Now that's what I call progressive values. They have over 1 million customers, express worldwide shipping, and a 24-month warranty on all watches, bandlets, and jewelry. I got my dad this watch for Father's Day, but I liked it so much I kept it, and I'm getting him another one. Now our watches will match when we go out for father and son kebabs. If you want a beautiful watch or jewelry to disguise your thin wrists, or just because you think they're cool, you can use code D&D Shorts for 10% off everything. Link is down below, or you can just scan the QR code on screen.
Okay, we're at level 4. This is what it's all been about. You are taking the feat, Elven Accuracy. This is why we're Shadar Kai. We need an Elven heritage to even take this feat. It gives us +1 to Charisma, rounding us out beautifully to an 18 total. It also says anytime we attack at advantage using our Charisma, which we use for our greatsword attacks, we can roll an additional d20 and take the highest result. We are now rolling 3d20 for every attack while obscured by our darkness spell, and critting on a 19 and 20. But it gets even better, because at 5th level, we pick up an extra invocation, and we're grabbing Thirsting Blade. Now we can attack twice rather than once when we take the attack action. This means we're ditching Booming Blade. It was fun while it lasted, but this is better. 2 attacks, both at super advantage with an expanded crit threshold, and we are rocking a nearly 47% chance to crit every freaking turn. We've also got 3rd level spells, so let's grab the incredible Hexblade bonus spell Blink here. This is non-concentration, so it doesn't interfere with our darkness, and it gives us a 50% chance of zipping out to a different dimension at the end of each turn. Now we can do all of our attacking shenanigans and then phase out at the end of turn, keeping ourselves safe and taking darkness off the battlefield so it doesn't obstruct our allies. We're getting close to what this build is all about, but this is only the beginning, because we're going to take the damage to the moon in the mid-game. So at 6th level you get your Accursed Spectre feature. Now when you murder a humanoid, you can summon a spectre under your control with some free temporary hit points. That's a CR1 non-concentration summon. It's fine in combat at this level, but it's really nice as a utility tool as well, with a 50-foot fly speed and the ability to move through objects and creatures. You also get another spell, and having an emergency counter spell on hand is an absolute must for any caster. 7th level is massive for us, because we can finally ditch darkness and grab Shadow of Moil. This is a concentration spell that wreathes your body in shadow. You are now heavily obscured to others, and this isn't magical darkness or an illusion, so this is heavy obscurement that works on enemies with True Sight and Devil's Sight. Anyway, you also resist radiant damage while it's active, and whenever a creature within 10 feet of you hits you with an attack, it takes 2d8 necrotic damage. This means you can ditch the Devil's Sight invocation. You don't need it anymore. You can replace it with Eldritch Mind, giving you advantage on all concentration checks, making this build much more resilient. You also get another invocation at this level, and we're grabbing Eldritch Smite. This is basically the Paladin's Divine Smite, letting us dunk a spell slot into an attack roll to deal an additional 5d6 force damage at this level and knock the target prone. You're gonna save your smites for when you score a critical hit, because on a crit, your smite damage is doubled as well. But wait, there's a lot more damage where that came from, because it's level 8, and we're grabbing the feat Great Weapon Master. This is where things go wild. Now, when we score a critical hit or reduce a creature to 0 hit points with our great sword, we can attack again as a bonus action. Our crit rate is basically 50-50 when we take the attack action, so this will trigger a lot. Better yet, before we make an attack, we can take a -5 penalty to the attack roll, and if we hit, we deal an additional 10 damage. We're attacking at super advantage. That -5 is basically irrelevant to us, as we just bury enemies under the weight of all the d20s we are rolling. For reference, starting at level 9 with the improved Pact Weapon invocation we grab at this level that gives a +1 to all attack and damage rolls, the odds of us rolling an 18 or higher on an attack, even with the -5 to hit, are still 72.5%. In fact, while we're doing the maths, assuming you get one crit on your turn, which we have about a 47% chance to do, before we even count our potential bonus action attack, we are throwing out 8d6 plus 30 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12d8 plus 3 for a total of 139 average damage a turn. And that isn't unusual, that's not rare. You'll often crit multiple times on a turn to deal way more damage. All the while, you resist 2 damage types, you are heavily obscured, you don't trigger opportunity attacks, all incoming attacks have disadvantage, and a bunch of spells can't even target you. Also at level 9, you can grab Synaptic Static or Cone of Cold, so if you don't want to hold your spell slot for an Eldritch Smite, you can use it for some big area of effect damage instead. If you already have a +1 weapon at this level, just from normal adventuring, you can grab Maddening Hex as your invocation instead of improved Pact Weapon. This means that on rare instances where you're not using a bonus action to set up Hexblade's curse or make an extra attack or teleport, you can throw out a little extra damage for free. Level 10 is a great feature if you like being annoying. Now, whenever you're hit by an attack, there's a 50% chance that it just misses anyway, and you're already a bugger to hit thanks to Shadow of Moil. Then we get to 11th level and get our first Mystic Arcanum. Basically, it's a 6th level spell you can cast once per long rest. Our damage is already amazing, so I like Mass Suggestion here. It's a group mind control effect that doesn't even require concentration because Lamau, stick your common sense up your butt. At level 12, we're finally gonna put +2 into Charisma, bringing us up to 20, and we're gonna grab the invocation Life Drinker. This nabs us an additional 5 necrotic damage on every attack, in case you were worried that you weren't obliterating people hard enough yet. Level 13 gives us another Mystic Arcanum of 7th level, so we'll grab Force Cage. This is a non-concentration control spell that breaks so many encounters, it's arguably the strongest 7th level spell, in a world where Simulacrum exists. At 14th level we get our final Hexblade feature, Master of Hexes. Now, whenever we kill a a creature, we can automatically move the Hexblade's curse to another one. This is stupid. Until now, our only weakness was we could only go full Super Saiyan Insanity on one creature per short rest. Now, it's on everyone. Reaching 15th level gives us an 8th level spell. You could grab Glibness for absolute domination of roleplay, perception, and deception, or you could grab Feeble Mind for a fantastic in-combat spell. Usually though, our damage output is so high, it's better to just attack with our action rather than use a turn in combat to cast a spell. We're also going to get our second to last Eldritch Invocation, and by this point in the game, we've basically got everything we need, so grab a flavor option. I like Master of Myriad Forms, which lets you completely transform your appearance, gain a swim speed, and a climb speed at will. Misty Visions is also a great roleplay invocation, giving you the power to cast infinite silent illusions, and Relentless Hex is an option if you just love teleporting and the base Shadar Kai teleport isn't enough uses for you. Finally, Repelling Blast, Eldritch Spear, and Grasp of Hadar are fantastic invocations for powering up our Eldritch Blast. When we are attacking at range, it's nice to have some of these available. 16th level is here, and we're going to grab that classic feat Lucky. It's just way too good. If you ever miss an attack, even with your ridiculous advantage, this lets you roll again. It also lets you re-roll failed saving throws. It's called the best feat in the game for a damn good reason. 17th level gets you your 9th level spell. True Polymorph is, of course, amazing, and arguably even stronger than Wish. Seriously. Psychic Scream is also a great option for devastating big groups of enemies, which melee warriors can otherwise struggle against. Also, just as an aside, at this level, a single casting of Eldritch Blast fires 4 beams. With Shadow of Moil and Elven Accuracy, that is 12d20 that you are rolling to make those attacks. That is a 71% chance to crit every time you cast a cantrip. 18th level is your final invocation. Pick one of the ones we chatted about before that you don't have yet. 19th level is interesting. It's our final feat / ability score increase. Our build is basically already online, but there are a few awesome feats to consider here. Strike of the Giants works out at an additional 5.5 average damage every turn, which you can double to 11 on a crit, not bad at all. Heavily Armored or the Fighting Initiate feat, grabbing the defensive fighting style, both work out at a +1 to your AC, if you're into that. If you didn't grab it from your background, the Tough feat is amazing here for a bonus 38 hit points. And if you haven't managed to pick up one of the magic items we're going to talk about in a second, just a straight +2 to con can also be good, bringing it up to 18, especially if you already have the Tough feat. That's another 19 hit points and a +1 to your concentration checks. Finally, at level 20, all Warlocks get Eldritch Master. Over the course of 1 minute, you can regain all your spent spell slots. Okay, so that's the build, but the build is only half the story. Let's talk about magic items. The obvious god-tier magic item for this build is a Vorpal Sword. Whenever you roll a 20 on your attack roll, you straight up decapitate the creature you're attacking as long as it has a head. You attack so often and with super advantage that this triggers incredibly reliably. If the creature doesn't have a head or it has legendary actions, it takes 6d8 additional slashing damage instead. But because a nat 20 is a crit, that's actually 12d8 bonus damage. Obviously, a Vorpal Sword is the dream, but any +2 or +3 greatsword would be fantastic. A Flame Tongue greatsword will give you an extra 7 average damage on every hit, doubled when you crit, and a Sword of Lifestealing will make crits hit harder and nab you a few temporary hit points. Magic weapons aside, the Amulet of Health is a fantastic magic item, raising your con score to 19. This gives you an extra +1 on your concentration checks and an additional 20 hit points by the end of the game. For only a rare item, this is awesome. You might have noticed that we have shield proficiency, but we can't wield one while using a greatsword. This makes the animated shield a fantastic magic item for us. It's basically a free +2 to our AC. Finally, Luckily, the Broom of Flying is only an uncommon item and goes great with our build, no matter what level. A 50-foot fly speed is awesome anyway, but with Shadow of Moil, being airborne makes us invisible to creatures with tremor sense. That means the only way any creature can bypass our heavy obscurement is with blind sight. It also means that if we smite a flying enemy while on our broom, they will fall prone and fall out of the sky, which is both massive damage and hilarious. And of course, if you like awesome builds, support the channel on Patreon to grab the last 4 months of content. That's 4 new races, 4 new subclasses, a ton new feats, magic items and spells, and 4 ready-to-play adventures with maps. You can also vote on there for future builds that I'll cover on the channel. Link to the Patreon is down below. Remember to check out other videos on the channel, like and subscribe, and remember to use code D&D Shorts for 10% off your Holzkern purchase. Thanks Holzkern for sponsoring this video.